Missed Monday's show? Here's the recap, presented by Honda.
Albert Breer of the MMQB.
Rich, the one name to watch is John Harbaugh. There were lots of teams that have been doing their research over the last couple of months, and I don't think these teams are going to quit on the idea of going after John Harbaugh whenever the Ravens are out of the playoffs. And one thing that obviously exacerbates all of this is the fact that he knows he'd have options in other places. The question here is really going to be whether or not the Ravens can get John Harbaugh extension whenever the season's over. But the timing lines up, I could certainly see if John decides to balk at the idea of signing an extension there, where you're going to have some other suitors lining up with draft picks saying what's it going to take for us to get John Harbaugh out of Baltimore.
Okay, Bruce, so handicap what the national championship game is going to look like.
Ultimately, I think Alabama's going to win this game because I think Alabama's just too good up front with Quinnen Williams against Clemson's offensive line, which I don't think is going to hold up well enough. I think it'll be more compelling and more of an even matchup than certainly what we saw Saturday, because Clemson's loaded up front, and I think they'll give Alabama more problems than anybody else they've faced just because their D-line's on a different level. LSU doesn't have those kinds of guys right now. Auburn has a few of them, not enough. Mississippi State has probably the closest version of that, but I just think Alabama's so good on all levels. And what we saw the other night is Tua, I talked to one of their coaches 2 days before the game, and I said, 80%, is that where he's at? He goes, no, he laughed. He was like, he's at 100%. You watch him move around, and that's what he looked like. And those Alabama receivers are really good. The running backs are good. As great as they've been, they haven't had a complete offensive team. They got one now.
Ask the poll question of Albert as we send him out the door. Christopher, go for it.
All right, Albert, what's the best job available? Browns, Broncos, Cardinals, Jets, Packers?
Cleveland. I love the Cleveland job because I think Baker Mayfield's a superstar. I like a lot of the young talent on their team, from Myles Garrett to Larry Ogunjobi to Joe Schobert to Denzel Ward, Jabril Peppers, Jarvis Landry. They've got a lot of good, under 26 talent on their roster, and they've got a ton of money to spend. And so for the first time in a long time, because that was seen as a bad job in a few of these recent cycles, I think the Cleveland job is the number one job in the market. And I think that's going to be reflected in the names that you see that are going to be pursuing that job.
For more Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Rich Eisen Show app.